Hey, before we jump into the episode this week, I wanted to let you know about a freebie that I have on my website that you can get that is going to help you be able to be intentional with your goal setting strategy. So, one of the things that people don't really understand in their goal setting strategy is that you need to have an emotion attached to the thing that you're actually trying to create in a physical manifestation. And a lot of people will attach themselves to the thing that they want without recognizing what it is underlying that they're really going for. So, for example, the reason why people jump out of airplanes with a parachute on their back is because what they're actually going for is adrenaline, right? Like we all understand that concept of being an adrenaline junkie and what they do. The same holds true for you and your goals. So you can say, I want a new car, but there's usually an underlying feeling that you're trying to create. And being able to pinpoint what that feeling is helps you to get into that place of achieving that goal faster. So on my website, I have a free guide. It is an emotions prompt guide. It is 400 emotions that you can look over and review. And I've got a little prompt, a way that helps you kind of narrow it down as far as your goals are going, that is going to help you be able to identify the thing you're actually going for and why you want to identify that thing in your goal setting strategy. So if you have not downloaded that yet, I'm putting a link down in the description and in the show notes, so be sure to go and check that out. Okay, let's get into this week's episode. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of All in the Name of Growth. I am solo today. I know that for the last several weeks we have had guests on the podcast and I've loved having them on. I have really loved being able to connect with these people. They are all amazing in their own individual paths and the things that they are doing in life, and I've loved being able to have them on and share wisdom and the things that they are creating and being able to give you kind of a little window into their specialty and the thing that they're really good at. But today, I just wanted to jump on and have just a little chat, me to you. I've been thinking a lot about, obviously, goals. I'm always thinking about goals and the things that I want to achieve in life, but I've kind of taken it to the next level lately. We went out of town a few weeks ago to go to the beach, and it was my birthday, my two sons' birthdays, and also Father's Day within like 10 days of each other. So we went to the beach, and I always do my best thinking there. And so I had bought a little notebook on my way to the beach, and I knew that the thoughts would come, and I needed somewhere that I could journal them. And of course they did. And I started journaling, writing them down, and having thoughts, and really looking at the things I wanted to be able to create in my life and how I was going to do that. Like, how can I actually do that? And I felt like for the last several years, I've kind of been in a place of dearth. Like, I'm not able to create in the way that I have been in the past. And so I really wanted to get back into that space. That was the thing I was really focusing on, was just kind of finding my groove again, right? Like finding my mojo. And I also picked a book up off of my husband's nightstand that he had ordered for him to read, which I think we've both listened to this before. But the book that I'm going through right now is Think and Grow Rich, and it's by Napoleon Hill. I'm sure you've heard of it. If you haven't read it, it's definitely worth diving into. I have pen in hand, my journal all the time. First thing in the morning, it's what I go and do is go out into the yard and sit and read and journal and just kind of like dump out and dump out the garbage and put in the good stuff, and just try and get myself back into that place of creation, where I know I've been before and where I can attain again. It's been actually kind of interesting because not too long ago, I decided to start this new business. I created a course, and I wanted to move out of the coaching that I had been doing in the network marketing industry and kind of open that up a little bit more into other areas, and to start the podcast, which I have been loving. I love doing all of those things and connecting with my community that I'm building. And so when I got into reading this book, this idea that has been kind of nudging in the back of my mind for a little while, like came to the forefront in a big way and was like, I want your attention. Which is kind of funny if you've ever read the book. And I talk about this actually in a podcast. I think it was the one that came out last week. talking about, it was the one that came out last week, and I was talking about a book called What Do You Do with an Idea? And it's funny, if you haven't read the book, I highly recommend getting your hands on it. It's really cute. You can probably just find it at the library. It's a children's book. It's not complicated. But it's a really good book that tells the story about this little boy who has this idea. And he's like, I don't even know what to do with an idea. But that was the thing. It was like, it wants attention. It wanted all of his attention. And that is how I'm feeling about this new idea that I've had. It's huge. It is a gigantic undertaking. I haven't hardly told anybody about it because one of my mottos in life is move in silence. And I don't want to... I'm not opening it up to outside opinions right now, which I really love. Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, that's how she went. She did a whole year of just like developing out her product before she told anybody about it, except for the people that obviously needed to know about it. So I'm very much in that. I'm not ready to share what it is that I'm working on, but I was talking to a woman the other day. I had been asking her if she knew other women in business because I'm creating a mastermind group. And she asked me what I was up to, and I kind of told her what it was. And she just like paused for a second, and she was like, that's really ambitious. And I was like, I know. I know it is. But if it works, it's going to be amazing because it's going to revolutionize a whole industry, and it's going to help me create something that I've always wanted to create. So I'm really excited about it. But the thing that has been really interesting about it is that in order to create something on that scale, on that level, this level that I'm like talking about, this could potentially be like $1 billion company is what I'm talking about, like multi-million for sure. It has that kind of potential if done in the right way. And so in order to create something like that, I know for a fact that you have to be mentally and energetically in a whole different sphere in order to be able to tap into the kind of the energy that flows in that place. And I know that to be a fact because I've seen it in my life, in other businesses and other aspects of my life. And so I've been really diving into Think and Grow Rich prior to this, but it's been a huge help while I'm going through this kind of journey of setting up the basics, the foundations, laying the foundations for this new business. And I came across a poem in Think and Grow Rich that I wanted to share because it has been really powerful for me, and it is something that I have thought about probably every day since I first read it a couple weeks ago. It's a poem by Jessie B. Rittenhouse, and it goes like this. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is a just employer. He gives you what you ask, but once you've set the wages, why, you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid. Sit with that for a second. If you didn't get it, if you're not getting the golden nugget in that, back it up and listen to it again, because there is something magical in that. And this isn't a new concept for me. I know that this is true. It was just a really powerful reminder going forward when you're thinking about doing something radically different in your life. If you actually set your sights on what it can be instead of settling on what it might be, like there's like, okay, well, it could provide me a little bit of an income. It could, change the lives of a few people, or it could change the lives of millions of people and create $1 million business. Like, those are two totally different things. And I really truly believe that in life, you only get to this point when you believe that you can. You have to. There's no other way you can get there. You don't stumble upon that kind of a business, that kind of success willy-nilly. It doesn't work that way. And I was doing a little bit of research in researching this business and this idea, kind of doing the market research on it. And I was searching to see how many people are billionaires, how many millionaires and how many billionaires are out there. And the reason why I was doing this is because when you want to achieve something, it's always helpful to know if somebody else has already created it, right? And I know that somebody has already created something similar to what I want to do, but for some reason, being able to see that other people can create millions or billions of dollars, that they can do things that generate that level of change in the world is just, it gives me hope that I could do the same thing. And so I got out there and I started doing some research, and, based off of the year and what web page you land on, there are somewhere between 400 and 800 billionaires. 400 and 800 billionaires. And millionaires, there are millions of millionaires, like upwards of 20, 30, 35 million millionaires. And that, for me, I was just like, whoa, okay, if there are that many people, I can certainly do something like that then. And again, if you listen to my podcast for any length of time, you know that there was an episode where I was talking at some point about, the financial aspect of what I want to try and create, which is a 6-figure a month income. And for some people, they're like, oh my gosh, that's just like disgusting, and I don't know why you would ever want that. But I have really big dreams for a foundation. And in order to do it justice, I know it's going to take money, and I want to do it justice. And I know that having money allows me to be able to give and to serve and to be able to create the life I want to live. And I can't give what I don't have. And so this isn't about money because I want a fast car and a big house and, a private jet and to rub shoulders with, whatever. That's not what this is about. This is about making a difference in the world. And so when I look at those kinds of things, when I'm looking at numbers, I'm looking at them because I want to see what is possible out there in the world. And this is actually what I did in my last business, that I still have that business and I still work it a little bit. But at the very, very beginning of it, it was actually in a network marketing company. And I had started using the products and I loved them, fell in love with that, fell in love with the company. And I was looking at what you can create in this company. And somebody had gotten up there and was like, this is what the average, this rank of person is. And basically what they said was that there was nothing special that made any of these people anything, that it was really just that they had a belief and a hard work ethic that got them to where they were. And I was like, well, if it doesn't take any special qualifications to be that person, then I can be that person. And I did. I created the rank that I wanted to create within a year. And so that's why I am kind of revisiting that in this business situation. I keep doing a lot of research on, okay, well, what other people have created something similar to what I'm trying to create. And I'm trying to dissect like who they are and how they got there. And it is true. It is true then as it is now that the only thing that sets people apart from being a millionaire and not is that they have a defined vision of what they're trying to create and an action plan for making it happen. And so it was just a good reminder for me and something that I wanted to share with you, that you can literally create your life to be whatever you want it to be. And that this poem, illustrates the point that if you are bargaining with life when you're in desperate circumstances and you're selling yourself short and you're settling for something less than what you actually deserve, then life will give that to you because that's what you asked for. And there was actually a funny story. Funny, I'm sure it wasn't funny at the time, but it's funny to me to look back on. My husband, when he was younger, he has 2 brothers that are very similar, like just right under him in age. And it was Christmas time, and his parents had asked him what he wanted for Christmas, and they didn't have a lot of money. And so my husband was like, well, I just want this one thing. And then not the next brother down, but the next brother was like, I only just want this one thing as well. And so Christmas morning comes and they start opening up their presents, and lo and behold, my husband got the one thing that he wanted. And so did his next down, two down brother got what he wanted. And the middle brother had like 3 presents. And my husband was like, what the heck? Why did he get all of that and I only got this? And his parents were like, that's what you asked for. And he's like, I didn't know I could ask for more. What I'm telling you right now in this moment is you can ask for more. You don't have to settle for 1 when you can have 3. You don't have to settle for anything if you want something more. I mean, you wouldn't just marry the next person that walked by on the street because you wanted to be in a relationship. That's not how it works. So why would you do that in any other area of your life? So my challenge to you is really to evaluate what it is that you want. And more than that, what are you willing to do to get it? Like he was willing to, he said, I worked for a menial's hire, but he set that wage and he said, I will do this for it. And so that's what was demanded of him. So You can't just say, okay, well, I want to be a millionaire and not do anything to try and actually accomplish that goal. You have to work towards it. So what are you going to do to work towards it? You have to set it something that's realistic for you, something that you actually want and that you're going to want to work towards. But it helps you to be able to identify that you can work towards it, that it is achievable for you. It is possible for you because you believe that it's possible for you, and that you're going to work every day on visually, mentally preparing yourself, seeing yourself in that position, seeing you having created it. This book is really good. Highly recommend you get your hands on it if this is something you're wanting to create in your life. But anyways, that was really the message that I wanted to share with you today, is that your only limitation is the one that's happening in your own mind, and that you can really create anything that you want, and you don't have to do it from a place of desperation. You can do it from a place of intention, and that is my challenge for you. So thanks again for tuning in, and I am going to catch up with you next week.